Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're gonna talk about this disease that you guys had been asking me so much to talk in my social media. We're gonna talk about this disease that you probably know somebody with it. You may know a whole family with it. Your family may have it. You may be the one that has it. Today we're gonna talk about diabetes and the emotional causes of it. We're going to talk about the root cause behind a diagnosis with diabetes. And it has nothing to do with the food that you eat, yet with the emotional food, but we're going to get there in a second. Also, wanted to make clear of something. No disease is inheritary. None. What is inheritary? It's the beliefs that that family has. Those beliefs they've been keeping through generations and generations. Those beliefs that your family, your mother, your father have put on you. That is what's inheritary, not the disease itself. So I wanted to make that clear, because this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about those beliefs that these families normally have, or the people with diabetes have, because those beliefs are already in your family. So, but to understand diabetes, we also need to understand the actual word diabetes. The word diabetes comes from the prefix D, which means division, separation. That's what the prefix D means. And the word Beth, which is the second letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which means house. So when we talk about diabetes, we talk about the house divided, the division in the house, the separation in the house. My house is divided. My house is separated. That is one of the main pillars, the main roots when somebody has diabetes. But we're going to get deep on that in a second also. But also we need to talk about the sugar in the blood, yeah? So when somebody has diabetes, they have excess of sugar in the blood. This is because unconsciously this person feels unloved. This person needs more sweet. Unconsciously, this person feels that doesn't have effective food, effective emotions. That person feels unloved most of the time. The love that they receive around them is not enough, or maybe none. Where these people feel that they have a deprivation, to that point, deprivation of love, lack of effective love, and they feel like they are living an effective malnutrition. That's what they feel normally, and that's why unconsciously they need also to load on sugar, and they need to grab sugar from other places, like a piece of cake or sweets, because they don't have love around them, or so they feel like it. Also, we need to talk about what sugar is. Sugar is energy. When we have sugar, when we have something sugary, we say, oh, let me just grab some energy. And this is what people with diabetes do. They load on that sugar, on that energy that will help them probably to go to war. They can go to a battle with all this energy, with all this sugar. And people with diabetes, that's what they do. They prepare themselves. They're always ready to go to a battle, ready to go to war, because they live their life in that way. They feel they're outside there. They live in this battle constantly. Unfortunately, they cannot fight. They just live in a war, constant war, in a battle, constant battle in the family, with their friendships, with their children. They cannot fight. They just have that energy for it, but they just can't fight. Because for them, fighting means separation, means division. My house will divide if I separate. If I fight, my house will separate, will get divided. Why? Because they have memories already in their family where maybe the parents separated, and when the parents separated, they lived closely what not having love meant, because maybe they felt unloved when the parents separated. Or maybe we also need to check when the diabetes started, because diabetes can come, let's say, from where grandma died, and after my grandma died, I was diagnosed with diabetes. Why? Because grandma was the one that keep the family together. She was the one that united that family. And now grandma is not uniting that family anymore because grandma's not here anymore. And then you have a diagnosis of diabetes because the separation in the family. But because already separations in the family was never really that close. But grandma was the one that made it close. Grandma, grandpa, doesn't matter. Maybe the diabetes started when you separated from your husband, from your wife. They left you. And that's when you started with the diabetes. And that's because that meant a division in your family. That division that you were dreading to happen because you already lived separations already in your family. I had a case. I had this lady that came to me and said that when her grandfather had diabetes, she also did. Her grandfather went to a civil war in Spain. And when he went to the civil war, he felt that he was killing his brothers. He didn't want to go to that war because for him going to that battle was to kill his brothers because they were Spanish just like him. And he didn't want to do that. So when he came back from the war, he keeps saying that I went there just to kill my brothers. So for him, to go on a war, to go on a fight, meant separation. And separation and death are lived in the same way because it's anti-biological. You don't want to kill people. You don't want to lose people. And anything that we live as anti-biological, we live it as death. A separation can mean a death to us. Abandonment means death because that's anti what you should go through life. So for him, going to war was killing his brothers. So now the belief in his family was that don't fight. Don't fight. Because if you fight, you kill your brothers. You separate your house. In his case was a big house, his country. That was his house. That's why I meant when I say symbolical, like real or symbolical. That's what symbolical means. For him, his country, his brothers, that was his house. So when we have diabetes, we need to look in those emotions. The lack of love. We need to look on separations. We need to look on death. We need to look on abandonment. We need to look on that. What happened before we were diagnosed? What happened in our lives? Normally, people with diabetes live in these relationships where they cannot separate. They hate each other most of the time. They just don't like each other. They are in these relationships where they just are in constant battle, in constant fights. They just cannot separate because they are afraid of what already happened in their family clan. So you may ask yourself now, so how am I gonna heal this? How can I reverse my diabetes? Well, it's been proven by the medicals that you can reverse diabetes. So to do this, you're gonna have to work on those emotions. You're gonna have to invest in yourself. I always say, invest in yourself, invest in your health, invest on a session. Let's work with your emotions. Let's work with what happened to you. So that's when we can really work with the emotions. Invest in yourself. Also, before I forget, also people with diabetes are people that live in the past, where the past was better, where the past was the good times. People with diabetes or insulin resistance also, they resist the changes. They don't want to change. What was before was better. I used to be happy with my parents where they were together, and then they separated. I am not happy anymore. That's what they resist. They resist constant changes. They don't want to change. The past was better. I just didn't want to forget to say that in this video. So that is what diabetes means. And so if you need some help, just let me know. Leave a comment. You can find me on the social medias. You can find me on my YouTube, on my Facebook, on my Instagram. I will leave the links below. Just contact me and invest in yourself, invest in your health. Till the next time, love you guys. Take care. Have a good week. Bye bye.